Good morning, good morning, good morning. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and you are breathing. Today is Wednesday, March the 22nd, 2023. My name is Stephen Carnegie, and welcome to This Is Just a Thought. Today's word of the day, purview, which means the range of authority or knowledge. Purview. Hope everyone is enjoying their Wednesday midweek swing. Hump day is here. Halfway through the work week. For some, but not for most. A lot of folks have to work on the weekend. Just do. Man, the weather here in North Carolina, wow. I guess you could say it's back to normal or as normal as it could get. Because earlier in the week, maybe 2-3 days at night, we've had some freezing. Wow, low 20s to upper 30s, right at freezing or just below freezing. And we woke up the next morning, the bite was certainly in the air. Man, but I think it's getting back to normal now. Temperature today is supposed to be, I believe they're saying in the 60s. And with Thursday and Fridays, we're going to be near 70, if not 80s even. Wow. Rain is expected today, of course, there's a system pushing through or has pushed through a large part of the country. And now it's heading towards North Carolina. Little rain, showers, nothing major. But man, California, they're still getting hammered. More rain. More rain in Southern California. How about that? I always said it never rains in Southern California. I think they're going to have to rethink that. And there goes that old Tony tune also. Yeah. California's been getting hammered. They just have. Man, the rain totals and the water rescues and just the destruction with the rain. And then in the mountains, they got the snow. They got some more snow, too, since the last time I talked to you. They've been getting tore out the frame. Strange weather patterns. Just is. And if you're thinking here in North Carolina that goody, the spring is here, think again. Because as we all know, there's going to be another frost. Probably in April. I mean, we're already at the 22nd of March. So we're expecting, if we look back throughout time and history and just the weather patterns here in the South, April's not too pleasant. Maybe one, no more than 2 more freezes are expected. So don't go out planting just yet, and don't go out putting your top coat and your hat up, toboggan for us Southerners, up just yet. We're going to get some more freezing temperatures, I guarantee you. We just are. That's just the South. That's just what happens. The spring is here. Last week, or this week, I'm sorry, was the first day of spring. I believe it was Monday. Yeah, Monday was the first day of spring. We had those freezing temps. Don't put away those overcoats just yet, folks. Just hold on. Stand by. Just do. All right, let's go get it. Man, where has my mind been? If you followed me on Anchor, Anchor and Spotify, you guys know that, my thing is, one of the things I do is Men's Health Month, of course. And that's not until June, but leading up into then, there are certain health awareness moments throughout the months that are I got to be honest with you, it ties right into men and our health. This is, of course, March, like I said. So this is Colon Cancer Awareness Month. And I missed it. I apologize. I apologize from the bottom of my heart. Where did the time go? Where was my mind? Crazy work schedule. And it totally just slipped my mind until last night. I was sitting around after I got off work and I said, wait a minute. There's a awareness month this month. What is it? Lo and behold, it was colon cancer. And then, of course, after that is going to be prostate cancer awareness month. And then I'll have some more after that leading up to Men's Health Month in June. Now, if you're saying to yourself, why am I singling out men's health issues? Well, of course, the obvious. I am a male. I too have some health issues, and I too have some things that I need to be aware about and start getting those screenings. Like I always say, I'm coming up on 50, and if you know, that's the recommended age, or if you're at high risk, to get your colon cancer screenings in. I know a lot of times us as males, we don't do the doctor's visits like that. I'm guilty of that also, but I'm getting out of that. I just am. I'm getting out of that also. I'm guilty of that. For some reason, us men, I don't know if it's something that has been inbred in us, into us somehow, some way, as it relates to our health and how we don't take it seriously, or how we ignore signs and symptoms and just pass it off as just old age aches and pains. We got to get out of that mindset. These numbers for colon cancer, or any cancer, I should say, but for colon cancer, which is, by the way, the third most commonly diagnosed cancer here in the United States. I believe skin cancer is the second, and I believe lung cancer is the first. But colon cancer is the third most commonly diagnosed, and those numbers have risen over the years. Now, they've had numbers for, I guess, 2022 and the start of this year of 2023. But before that, they said they couldn't really get an accurate count because of COVID. And a lot of doctor visits and a lot of routine screenings. As you know, when we were under those quarantines, a lot of males and females, they weren't going to get those screenings. So now that they have a full year or so, and they have the numbers. And it is, wow. The numbers are still high as far as the diagnosis. And in the next episode, I'll be talking about the different stages and the treatments for colon cancers, because just like with any cancer or any ailment or illness or disease, early detection is a must. The sooner you get these things tested, you get those tests and you get diagnosed or whatever, what have you, that's your best bet, rather than waiting around and letting it linger on for however long it is. And sadly, a lot of us as males, and more specifically black males, because I got to be honest with you, we're at the top of just about every disease and ailment there is, as it relates to us not having those routine doctor visits and screenings. That's one of the things they found out, or have found out and continue to find out, that is a leading cause of death for us as black males with a lot of these diseases. We don't go to the routine doctor's visits. We don't get the screenings. That's the cause of death for us as black males. It's not so much the disease, it's the early diagnosis. And of course, like with most things, eating habits or piss poor habits, as far as drinking and smoking or whatever, what have you. But early detection, just about everything. I've been doing this podcast now. It'll be 4 years in June, by the way. And I've been doing these different health awareness for certain months. And then, of course, June, like I said, is Men's Health Month. And at the top of every single list for whatever disease that I looked at, it was screenings, or the lack thereof. We aren't going to get those screenings. We just aren't. And like I said, for us as men, black men, we just put off doctor's visits. I don't know if it's a machismo thing. Many say it's a macho thing. Many say, of course, it's a distrust for doctors. The Tuskegee experiment. Henrietta Lacks, that they say is the leading cause for many blacks, male or female, why they are so reluctant to go to these doctor's visits. And it is. It just is. And you have to understand that and acknowledge that. History has not been too favorable for African Americans or black Americans as it relates to medical treatment. So a lot of black males and females don't do doctor's visits like they should until there's something seriously wrong. And sadly, by that time, it's too late. It just is. So let's get back to colon cancer here. Of course, if you're saying, what is colon cancer? Colon cancer is a cancer of the colon or rectum, and it's usually found at the lower end of the bowel tract, or the digestive tract, I should say. Now, the main cause is, it makes perfect sense, is a low fiber diet, high fat diet, or diet of processed meats. Eating out, making yourself a cold cut sandwich, bologna, ham, provolone, whatever cheese you put on there or whatever. But they're saying they've tracked it down to that's the cause. So you have a low fiber diet, you don't get enough vegetables in you or food with fiber, so you can release what you eat. That's just the basic. That's just life. Whatever you intake, it has to come back out. So if you have a low fiber diet and all you're doing is eating meat and bread and steak and potatoes and processed food, eating sandwiches and cold cuts, and you're going out to eat here and there and everywhere, and that could be your fried chicken too, your local fried chicken place, that's processed food. Everything fast food, it's sad to say, it's pretty much processed. Now you have a few places that make food fresh, but for the most part, it's processed. Just is. So if you're one of those, the high meat diet, that's me. Cutting back, I have. And like I've said before, in the process of me doing these podcasts, I've learned so much about not just what's out there for others, but more specifically, what's out there for me and the habits I have that I need to stop. Just do. Now, also, they're saying, of course, if you're overweight and obesity, high alcohol consumption, or not too high. Well, yeah, I do. And tobacco use. Boy, I'm a trifecta. I ain't on the line. I'm over the line. Just am. So, a lot of habits is what this is horning in on. A lot of bad habits that we've picked up over the years. Yeah, I have. And continue to do. Yeah, I have. I'm cutting back. I'm trying my best. It's a hard battle. And if you're out there like me, you're a male like me, and you're recognizing certain things that is going on with your body, or you're reading or hearing certain things we need to be aware of as it relates to our body and our health, you know there is a struggle. It's an everyday struggle. It just is. It just is. I struggle with just about everything that I just read to you. I just do. Cutting back. I'm honestly trying my best, but it's a struggle. It just is. And the mindset or mantra or whatever is you got to cut it out, and you got to cut it out now. That's a lot of people can. Some people can quit cold turkey, and I salute you. And then there's some of you like me, where it has to be done in increments. It has to be done in steps. Can't just stop just like that. Just can't. So that's the approach I'm taking. Getting more active. I've slacked off a little bit. Got to get back out there and get more active. Got to start pulling myself out of bed early and, doing my stretching and my exercises and then starting my day. That has worked for me in the past, so I'm going back to it. I just do. Now, like I said, colon cancer is the third most diagnosed cancer in the United States. And what they said, as of January of this year, there has been 106,970 new cases of colon cancer. And that's new cases. They finally horned in on and were able to get the data they needed after COVID. That's what they came up with, 106,970 new cases of colon cancer as of January this year. For black males, those numbers have risen. Like I said before, lack of screening, routine doctor's visits, piss poor diet, alcohol consumption, and tobacco use. They're saying 1 in 41 of black males will die from colorectal cancer. And they're also saying black males are 24% more likely to get colorectal cancer than white males. And of course, like I hinted at and touched and horned in on earlier, 47% are more likely to die from colon cancer. Another thing that has came out, and they were saying at one point in time that for men that have colon cancer, it's usually in their 40s, their mid 40s, going into their 50s and so on and whatever, what have you. But what has now been discovered, and they're seeing more and more cases of young men in their 30s are getting colon cancer, or not only getting colon cancer, they are dying. Now, there was there's a I guess you call him a social media influencer. Sometime last year, I can't remember his name, but he usually did skits with his son. And when I first saw him and his son, I said, man, his son is really young. I said, man, that guy has a bright future ahead of him. He's spot on. Well, the father got diagnosed with colon cancer sometime last year. And they gave him a diagnosis. They said that he only had like 5 or 6 months to live. And after he got that diagnosis, in a month or less than a month, or maybe a little bit over a month, he had died. He was 30-something years old. He was in his early 30s. So now they're finding out that more and more men are getting colorectal cancer in their 30s. Why? It's that diet, lifestyle habits. Not saying that guy had a bad diet or lifestyle habits or whatever, what have you, but that's what they're attributing to. It's attacking men younger because of our lifestyle choices and habits. If you can, I can remember when I was a kid coming along, and this is another thing I discovered with me doing these podcasts about men's health, is we're not active like we used to. If you remember your father and your grandfather and your uncles or your older cousins, they were way more active than we were. They got off work. They weren't just flopped out on the couch drinking beer and eating cold cuts. They were out active doing something. For me as a kid coming along, I can remember a lot of men being at the basketball court. I can even remember a lot of men. I had the opportunity. I grew up around 2 historically black colleges, Shaw University and St. Augustine's College, and of course the community center where I grew up at. Also, I saw a lot of men out there on the tennis court. I saw a lot of men. If I went to St. Augustine's College or Shaw University, a lot of men were on the track running. They were more active. They weren't just sitting around like you and I. I can tell you honestly, a lot of times when I get off work, that's it. That's why I say I got to get back to it. Where first thing when I wake up, I do my exercise. I'm out doing something, whether it be walking, stretching, or whatever, or what have you. I do better with doing mines when I first wake up as opposed to when I get off. Because usually when I get off, I'm so drained mentally and physically, I don't feel like doing nothing but just flopping on the couch. And I got to stop that also. So that's another contributing factor. Also, is goes back into one of the causes, being overweight and obese. It just does. And if you're saying to yourself, "Wow, that could be me," yeah, it could be. Because when the first time I did these podcasts and I was reading up on and trying to get information, I'm reading the information, I'm reading the causes and what they're saying could be a contributing factor and what they're saying could be preventative. I'm saying to myself, man, I'm lacking. That's me. That's just the facts of it all. A lot of these diseases and ailments, not just colon cancer or whatever, what have you, it goes back to our lifestyle choices, how we treat our body. Another thing that we have to start doing as males is being aware of what's going on with our bodies. A lot of these ailments and diseases, yeah, self-examination, but also be aware of signs that your body's telling you something. Hey, something's off. And like I said, we'll ignore it and chalk it up to just old age and just little ticks and nicks in our body that's due to old age or we're getting older. A lot of time it's not. It just isn't. For me personally, firsthand, one of the things that I realized was I don't digest beef like I used to. That's also a telltale sign that something's going on with my digestive system. I have to cut the red meat out. And that's been a major topic for a lot of discussions. And a lot of people are saying, well, you can't really trace it back to red meat. And that's usually the ones that are, the farmers and livestock handlers or whatever, what have you. But there is most definitely, because I've heard it before. I heard it from numerous people that in passing, just dealing, not just reading, that say the same thing. They're having a problem digesting red meat, beef. And that's in any form, whether it be hamburger, steak, or whatever. You know, I was a steak guy. I'm a steak and potatoes type of guy. And it broke my little heart to have to back up off the steak. It just did. But like I said, I noticed something was off. Everything else I ate, I had no problem. My digestive system was on point. But whenever I ate that beef, it was a problem. Whether it be constipation or diarrhea. That's also, well, we'll get into that in the next podcast about signs of colon cancer also. You got to know your body, and you got to pay attention to what your body is telling you. Like I said, they're going back and they're tracing, you know, with the high numbers for black males or just deaths in total as a result, or the new diagnosis of colon cancer as a whole. What they said, the one thing in addition to the screening, is the individual and his lack of acknowledging what's going on with his body and his day-to-day dealings. Yeah, that's true. Looking back, I caught it, but it took me a while because I was ignoring it. I just passed it off as whatever. If I could say anything as it relates to your digestion, when that starts messing up, that's a red flag. There's poison in your body, because whatever you intake, whatever you eat, is supposed to come out. And if it's just sitting there, that's toxic. There's toxins in your body just sitting there. And who knows what it's doing. So you got to get on the stick. You got to be aware of what's going on with your body. You just do. There's no way around it. There's no knocking it. If I, you know, when I first started doing these podcasts for men's health and awareness, I was saying to myself, I wonder if anybody's going to get it. I wonder if anybody's going to really sit down and think about themselves, them as an individual person. Because there were a lot of things that I discovered, but one of the things that came out after reading stories of people that were sick with colon cancer, prostate cancer, lung cancer, or whatever, what have you, almost all of them left family members and friends behind. And it could have been prevented. And if it couldn't have been prevented, it could have been maintained where they would would be with us. So if you think that, you know, hey, it's my problem, I'll deal with it, I'll do whatever. No, it's not. It just isn't. And that's another problem we have as males. We have got to get out of that mindset that it's just my problem all by my own. If you're married, it's your wife's problem. If you have children, it's your kids' problems also. And any other family member or friends that have grown attached to you, that expect you to be there or be around for a while. So I could say, if you don't do it for yourself, do it for your family. Whatever motivates you, whatever gets you moving or helps you to acknowledge what's going on with your body and your person, do it. There's a lot of family members, a lot of kids that have been left without fathers because of fathers' reluctance to acknowledge or just go and get a screening. It's far better to know what you have at an early stage than to find out what you have in the latter stage. And in the latter stage, I mean where it's too late. You're on your way up out of here. Far better to know it early on. Yeah, I got to get on the stick also. I just do. I got to acknowledge that. And I've made some great advances. I got some more to do. A whole lot more. It didn't happen overnight, so it's not going to change overnight. I know that sounds cliche-ish, but it's the truth. You didn't get to this point or stage with all these bad eating habits, bad diets, bad alcohol consumption, and tobacco use overnight. It took you some time, and it's going to take you some time to get rid of those habits and lifestyle choices also. It just is. That's just the way the mop flops. Now, like I said, they're saying the screenings are for those that are 50 or at high risk even. So I think those what they're finding quite I feel confident in saying quite in the future they're going to start screening more earlier. Because like I said, they have some numbers for those that are in their 30s that are not only have colon cancer, but are dying from it. That's just that. You got to acknowledge it, and you got to have an understanding, and you got to be honest with yourself about your body and what is going on with it. You just do. Another thing that came out that I kind of found odd, but it's not. They have a high number of women that are being diagnosed with colon cancer also. I thought to myself, wow, women? Colon cancer? And surprise, surprise, the causes are the same as it is for males. Eating habits. Low fiber diet or no fiber diet. Alcohol consumption, cigarette use, processed foods, or a high diet of fat. And that's animal fat. That's your beef. So when they say a high diet of fat, that's going to be your meat, the animal fat. So women and men alike, we've got to change our lifestyle around completely. Wow. All those bad habits. Just like I told you guys earlier, I can remember a lot of times when I was a kid coming up, I would see the older cats out there on the basketball court or tennis court or at the track. Those women were right there with them also. Now it appears they've turned just like the men. They come home and flop out on the couch. With a glass of wine and some cold cuts. Hey, the numbers ain't lying. This is lifestyle choices and habits we got to change if we want to continue to be around for ourselves and for our family members. Apparently, the numbers have risen for women, and they're saying a lot of women are leaving behind kids also, just like the males. For me, it's lifestyle choices. It's lifestyle habits we have developed, and we hold on to these bad habits and lifestyle choices. So we've got to make some changes, and I'd say make them quick. Just do. I'm going to keep this fairly short today. Of course, I got to go into work. I just do. But, man, next time I'm going to be talking about the different stages of colon cancer and the treatment. Because, like I said, I'll be 50 soon, so I already know what I got to do. If I can't do it right at 50, I'll try to get it done a little bit before then. It's something I'm going to do. I just have to. Because, like I said, I have to be honest with you and myself, and me being honest with myself, I got to be honest with you. I have those bad habits, and I've had them for a while. And maybe the tell-all sign is me and my lack or inability to digest beef. So I got to make some changes, and I got to go get that screening. I just do. So if I can say anything to anyone out there that's listening, don't hesitate. Don't be scared. Don't be afraid. Go get those screenings. I would much rather know now and it be in the first stage or precautionary stage as opposed to the latter stage when that's it. There's no treatment available for you. You're on your way up out of here. I just got to be honest with you. So that's the catalyst for me. I need to know right now. I just do. If I have a problem or I have a major health concern. So it would benefit you. Like I said, if not for yourself, then for your family, your kids, to get those screenings, to pay attention to what's going on with your body. Change your eating habits. Change your lifestyle choices as far as the alcohol and tobacco use. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. I know it's a process. It takes time, step by step, but you got to stay on it. Well, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to skedaddle. Like I said, I have to go to work today. Lucky me. And that's all for me today. And I want to thank you all for lending me your ears this morning. Continue to like, support, share, offer feedback. Anchor, which I am sharing this podcast with, has a great feature where you can leave a voice response. Or if you're on YouTube, get in that comment box and let me know what's going on. I would like to hear your voice. So offer feedback. You can also make monetary contributions. Continue to follow and listen on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio, Public, Verbal, and WordPress, and YouTube. And as always, wherever you are streaming or listening, hit that like and subscribe button so you can get notified when I drop these podcasts. Keep you in the loop. And as always, my name is Stephen Carnegie. Thank you for listening. This is Just a Thought. Amen.